Welcome in, Red Sox Beat here on CLNS Media. If you're surprised that it's not Jared's voice, you're right, it's not. This is Jess Thomas alongside Lauren Campbell. Jared is not here this week. We're going without our fearless leader, our man himself. But we're going to do it here just fine on an Easter special of Red Sox Beat. 3 games into the season as of record time. So we'll talk about the first 3 games, a 2-1 start for the Red Sox. You can follow us on Twitter, our Red Sox coverage as a whole, at Red Sox CLNS. You can check out the CLNS Twitter at CLNS Media. And obviously, the new website, which is excellent. You can find all of our articles and podcasts and everything there at clnsmedia.com. You can check us out on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher. We're all there. This is episode 175, so we're getting somewhere with this show. But it's pretty exciting. Easter's here, and regular season baseball's here, even though we're just hitting April now. Lauren, what's up?
What's up? It's been an interesting week for Red Sox. Well, really not. It's been a good week. Interesting for the first game, but it's been a wild week for Boston sports.
I know. Big day on Saturday. 3 wins: Bruins, Red Sox, and Celtics, and Revolution, if anybody cares about that. But we're here to talk about Red Sox. And now I think you saying interesting week actually is true, because there's some fascinating stats that came out of these first 3 games. We'll start with the first game, which was the tough one. The Sox led 4-0 going to the 8th inning, and the bullpen imploded, gave up 6 runs in the inning, and the Sox lost 6-4. I guess we'll start with the managerial decisions, because that's what everyone likes to talk about. So we'll hit the hot button topic here. Alex Cora did not bring in Craig Kimbrell, and he started the inning with Joe Kelly and then went to Carson Smith. Your thoughts on how he picked his guys, and do you agree with what he did? Give me your thoughts.
Well, it's one game, so I kind of like going and seeing how everyone reacts, and people were acting like it was the end of the world that he didn't go to Kimbrell. And he came out after the game and said he had a plan, he was sticking to it, and he wasn't going to put Kimbrell in a situation where he wasn't part of that plan. And I think he said he wasn't going to put Plainer in that either. I'm pretty sure it was him. Mm-hmm. But, it's one game, and I'm not going to judge Cora off one game where he doesn't bring in the closer. If he's not part of the plan, he's not part of the plan. And I mean, I can see the frustration. I was frustrated. And should Kimbrell have been in a situation like that? Probably. But we're 2-1. So like I said, it's one game. It sucks that the bullpen blew opening day. Like, of all games to just throw away, it can't be opening day. But I have no issue with it, mainly because of how the rest of the season has gone in the last 72 hours. But my faith is in Cora.
And obviously more will happen before our show is released here, before the Sunday game, but that's okay. I was fine with it, because he brought Matt Barnes in for the 7th. He went 1-2-3, and then Joe Kelly in for the 8th. I mean, I'm okay with it, because Joe Kelly had given us no reason to believe that he wouldn't pitch well. I mean, it's the first game. Nobody's pitched yet. He had a fun spring training being Jim Buchanan, and he seemed to look pretty good. So there was no really reason to believe he would walk 3 guys and just blow the game completely. I was fine with it. I think it would be weird to bring Kimbrell in the 8th inning in the first game, especially going into the inning with a 4-run lead. It's not even a safe situation at that point. I know it was once, runs were given up, but I was fine with it. I think the thing that I found most strange about this game was Chris Sale not getting one more inning. But as we'll get into here, clearly he's more into getting guys rest and keeping them fresh than having them go deep into games, because it's happened all 3 times. So the second game of the season, Sox won 1-0. David Price pitched 6 scoreless innings. Was it 6 or 7?
7.
Now I'm questioning myself.
No, 6.
It was 6, right?
Yeah.
Nope, it was 7.
It was 7.
Sale was 6, Price was 7. Yeah, so he only pitched he pitched 7 innings, only threw 76 pitches, then came out, and then the bullpen shut the door. And then on Saturday, the Sox won 3-2. Rick Porcello went 5 1/3 innings, and he only threw in the 80s as well. So not many pitches for the starters. The bullpen pitched well in the second 2 games. Before we get to more things like that, I want to start with the starters because I got their numbers here. Through 3 games, the starters threw 18 1/3 innings, gave up 11 hits, 1 run, no home runs, 4 walks, and 18 strikeouts. 3 of those 4 walks were Sale. And it's the first time the Sox have started the season with 18 scoreless innings from their starters since 1940 between the 3 guys. So talk to me about that, because I know some people were worried about the starters. They weren't necessarily worried about Sale and Price, and they were the first 2 of this, but I think we're exceeding expectations big time here.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we got what we expected from Chris Sale, but David Price and Porcello, I think there were a lot of eyes on them because of last season, and of course, David Price's meltdown and Porcello not pitching like the Cy Young pitcher he was the year before that. So definitely a lot of eyes were on those 2, and Price was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Like, he could have gone the whole game. He only pitched 76 pitches, 77 pitches.
Unbelievable.
So he could have gone the entire game, but I'm fine with, giving him the rest and not, especially with his elbow. And Porcello today, fantastic. And I think Cora took him out at the perfect time because he started to struggle, and it's not Farrell leaving them in for too long, or like a batter too long, an inning too long. Cora's out there, and he's like, all right, you're out. Like, time to go, time to save this game. So starting pitching has been tremendous. And, starters went through 3. So we'll see how Johnson and Velasquez do. It'll be absolutely very interesting to see if they can kind of round out this rotation, because those 2 spots have been the biggest question marks. But, man, not what I expected in a good way from Price, anyway.
Do you chalk these 3 starts up to the Rays not having good offense, or do you think these guys would do it either way?
No, I think they do it either way. We've seen Chris Sale do it against really good teams. We've seen Price pitch well against good teams. We've seen these guys pitch really well against really good teams. So, chalk it up to what you will. The Rays aren't the best team out there, but I've always felt like the Red Sox, and just kind of like Boston teams in general, they lose to crappy teams, like not the best teams out there from
Right.
time to time. And I feel like they struggle against the Rays quite a bit sometimes, but it's just when you're playing a team in your division, I don't care if it's the first game, I don't care if it's the 130th game. Every win counts.
Oh yeah, totally. And to get 2 out of the first 3 is obviously great. And I think with Price, he was so sharp, he would have done that against anybody. So yeah, I'm more willing to chalk it up to they just pitched really well as opposed to being against a crappy team. So more into the starters here, since we did talk about the pitch counts here a little bit. Are you okay with these guys coming out so early, or would you rather save the bullpen and have them be fresher and have the starters go deeper? Because how much do you trust the bullpen, I guess, is really what it comes down to. Because, if they're coming out earlier because of pitch count, then that's who you're relying on at that point.
For now, I'm okay with it. Price, I'm still a little, I question a little bit just because his pitch count was so low, but I don't mind it because I don't want these players to get fatigued in the middle of the year, towards the end of the year. And the bullpen, the last 2 games, yeah, I do trust them. I trust, obviously, how can you not trust Kimbrel after what he's shown in the last 2 games? Carson Smith looks fine. Obviously, Joe Kelly, but he's going to have his ups and downs regardless of what he does, whether he comes in the 6th, whether he comes in the 8th. So, bullpen, yeah, I think we had a lot of questions around them going into the season anyway. So, for the most part, I trust the bullpen 80 to 85% of the time, which I don't think is really that bad. But for now, I'm okay with it. I don't want these players to get fatigued at any point, especially Chris Sale throws so hard. David Price has a janky elbow. you want to keep these guys fresh.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, you would think beginning of the season, they're fresh, pitch them as long as you want. But then as we see, they get tired at the end of the year. So Cora's taking the opposite approach of we'll pitch them like the end of the year at the beginning of the year, and maybe it'll be the opposite. So if that actually comes true, and they're all fresh at the end of the year because they're not pitching as much, then that's great. And I'm curious to see if he continues this and how long he continues this, if he does. But yeah, I mean, I was shocked when David Price came out. I thought for sure he was throwing a complete game. I said it in our group message. I said he's going complete game. He was at 66 pitches through 6 innings. I was like, there's no way he's not getting a complete game. And then he gets taken out after 76 pitches. I was like, are you kidding me? Ended up working out, thankfully. But I was shocked. I could not believe that. So, I mean, the bullpen came in and they did their job. I mean, going into the third game, halfway through it, the pitchers had only given up runs in 1 inning. Just the 8th inning of the first game where they gave up 6 runs. None of the other 8 innings. Obviously, they got a shutout in the second game, and they had a shutout through the first half of the third game. So through 2.5 games, they'd only given up runs in 1 inning. So, I mean, clearly, the pitching, starters and bullpen, minus that 8th inning, has been the complete story because these have all been close games.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And watching the game today, I was like, oh no, like Rick Porcello isn't going to get his run support, but that turned around pretty quick. So
got just enough.
Just enough, which is fine. I don't care if we win by 1. I don't care if we win by 10 when Rick Porcello is on the mound. I just want to win.
And he stayed in just long enough to get a win.
Just long enough. Yeah, but he looked good. The pitching's looked really good. It's the offense. Kind of like last year, the offense just can't seem to come together right now. I don't want to say come together, but because there's people in that lineup that are just doing just fine. Xander Bogaerts, one of them. But it's a long season, thank God, because I'm glad it's not like an 80-game season. I like the almost 200 games per season. I love it.
Right. Lots of sample size. Not much yet, but we'll have a lot as time goes on. So let's get into the offense. We've exhausted the pitching here, and it's been great, and I'm really excited about that. So let's get into the offense. Crazy stats. I mean, with the pitching going 18 scoreless innings, and now Xander Bogaerts is 8 for 12 with 5 doubles, 1 home run, and 4 runs. He is the first Red Sox player in Red Sox history to have 2 extra base hits in each of the first 3 games. So if you think about it, that doesn't happen much because guys are usually kind of settling in and figuring out, get a hit here, get a hit there. He's been destroying it. He's hitting .667. He's only the second player ever in history, period history, all history, to get the 2 extra base hits in the first 3 games. Adrian Gonzalez, of all people, was the other one in 2015 for the Dodgers. So he's been hitting out of his mind. He was probably one of the most criticized players coming into the year based on what he did last year. And as Tim Neverett told us when we had him on recently, he said he wasn't healthy after he got hit in the hand last year, and he kept playing, and he didn't play well. So is this guy this good when healthy?
Yeah. It's weird. It's like, when he's at 100% health, he's good. He's good at what he's supposed to be good at. So I don't think he was expected to be this good, but he's off to a hot start, and that's what we needed because, the infield was unsure with Pedroia being out and Hanley and Moreland at first, and then everyone else at third base, it seems like. So it's refreshing to see him play so well after such, a coaching change and a crappy end of the postseason. And after he got hit in the hand last year, we saw he just wasn't the same player. And we talked about that last year on the show, that something was different, and maybe it was his hand. And you get hit in the hand, and it affects everything. The way you hold your bat, the way you feel, the way you throw. And if it was bothering him, it's going to affect everything he does, even if it hurts a little bit, even if it hurts a lot. So whatever he did in the off season, whether it was just rest, rehab, any kind of, hand exercises that he could do, it obviously worked because he looks phenomenal, and he can't stop hitting the ball. I don't want him to stop.
I know. It's unbelievable. 5 doubles in 3 games, and it's what he did when he came into the league, just ripping line drives down down the left field corner. And then his home run also was to left field as well, deep. So it's great to see because it's just what he prides himself on, and it's awesome. So he's been the man. He's basically won these games because he's literally done everything for the most part. In addition to Eduardo Nunez and his inside the park home run. How was that for an exciting beginning to the season?
Man, was that fun because it's the last thing you expected. And I was watching the game at work, and it was just they kind of, the two Rays outfielders, I'm like, kind of collided, and I was like, oh my god, Nunez is not stopping, and my office was just like, yeah, and it was just really like a cool moment for Nunez because after the slide, and I think he hugged Bogaerts right after, and
He picked him up.
like, what a way to start the season. And I was nervous, like his knee and his head first slide, where I was like, oh Jesus, but it was fantastic. Like what a way to start the season. What a way to just kind of be like I'm still here, so just kind of like making his mark already in the lineup.
And he flew around the bases. I'm sorry, I did not expect that to be an inside the park home run.
16 seconds.
The ball got past the outfielders, obviously, but he was motoring, which is awesome. And you think that would have been a spark for the offense, so it's kind of funny that they haven't really scored many runs after that. But I mean, that was an exciting moment. You don't see inside the park home runs very often, so that was a fun little start.
And they had two consecutive inside the park home runs because
right.
Devers hit one last season, so that was kind of like two consecutive games.
In the last playoff game, right?
Yep. So that was kind of a cool stat, but I was like, I love this team already.
And another cool stat, that was the first Red Sox inside the park home run in the first game of the season since Yaz did it in 1968. So long time, 50 years since that. So that was a cool stat too. I want to get a little deeper into the lineup, but first, got to tell you about Draft. If you love fantasy baseball, you need to try out my new favorite app, Draft, which sponsors our show here. It's daily fantasy baseball, but it's not like the other daily fantasy baseball guys. On Draft, you play live snake drafts with other people, just like in your season-long league. The drafts last for just one night. Once you're done drafting, that's it. No trades, no waiver wire. You just set your lineup and then let the day happen. The best part, you can play for cold hard cash and get paid out the next day. Drafts start from just $1, so there's a draft for everyone. I did my first draft.com draft today, and it was cool. I just picked my team. The draft took about 3 minutes. There were six players in my league, and then you pick 5 players. You pick a pitcher, 2 infielders, and 2 outfielders, and then your team just goes to work. And I actually won. I won $10 on a league I only had to pay $3 for. So it's really fun. I guess the interesting thing with it, Lauren, is just you just draft the players. It's super quick because there's so few managers in your league, and then you just hope that your 5 guys do well, and then you can get paid. And it's cool because the difference is nobody has the same guys, unlike all the other daily fantasy.
Right, how fun is that? Where it's you pick your team, and the players you have, no one else is gonna have. So it's not like you sit there and you're like, 5 other people have Giancarlo Stanton or JD Martinez. So I think it gives you a better shot at winning. You won tonight. So how cool is that?
Yeah.
So
go for it.
I just like the idea of not everyone having the same player because it kind of takes away from the whole draft experience, the whole fun of it.
Right. You're like, I drafted that guy. Oh, so did 400 other people.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I drafted Yu Darvish, Carlos Correa, Brian Dozier, Mike Trout, and AJ Pollock. And Correa got me 30 points, and Mike Trout got me 27. And at one point throughout the day, the 2 of them had more points than any of the other 5 teams I was playing against combined. So they did awesome, and I won that. So it was fun. It made me feel smart. I was drafting the right guys. So if you want to have fun and draft the right guys, join me on Draft today. Just search Draft in your app store or play right from your computer on Draft.com. And for a limited time only, all Red Sox Beat listeners get a free entry into a real money baseball draft when you make your first deposit. You have to use my promo code RedSoxBeat. That's right, play a real money game for free just using my promo code RedSoxBeat when you make your first deposit. Search Draft in your app store, go to Draft.com, enter the promo code RedSoxBeat. Highly recommended. A lot of fun. Let's get back to the offense here. For just a little longer before we go to some news around the league. I don't know what you think. They had the same lineup for the first 2 days, and they switched it up for the third game of the season. They took Jackie Bradley Jr. out. He didn't play. Andrew Benintendi went to center, and J.D. Martinez played left instead of DHing. And then Mitch Moreland got to come in and play as well. I don't know what you think. I like this lineup better. Jackie Bradley Jr. is 0 for 7. Not saying he'll do that forever, but he's never been a good hitter. I like the lineup better having JD in the outfield, having Moreland actually be able to hit, and not having Jackie in the game.
Yeah, it's interesting. We know what we're going to get with Jackie Bradley Jr. We're either going to get like a 30-game hit streak or nothing at all. There's really no in between with him. I don't hate it because Cora's not like screwing around with the lineup the way Farrell would. But it's been interesting to see how the lineup has been going. Obviously, Mookie Betts is doing fine. Jackie Bradley Jr. is Jackie Bradley Jr., but I'm really surprised with Benintendi and how he's struggling
0 for
right
11.
now at the plate. Yeah, and I mean, today he's had close calls. Anywhere else he would have had hits and home runs and doubles. But he's got to be frustrated because he comes into the season, obviously there's a lot of hype around him. Number one prospect in baseball, and we have him. Last year he would have won MVP if it wasn't for Aaron Judge. But it was just it's interesting. It's weird to see Andrew Benintendi without a hit right now. Jackie Bradley Jr. not so much. JD Martinez.
He got 2, which is nice.
He did, but yeah. I like that he's been versatile, or like kind of accepting that he's going to play in the outfield. He's not always going to be DH because that was the whole offseason thing. But I like it. It's obviously working for the most part, and I don't think there needs to be any drastic changes right now anyway. But I'm really liking it.
Yeah, I like switching it up pretty frequently. It seems like Cora's going to do that, so I think that's a good thing. JD, Mookie, and Benintendi, they're not hitting much. JD and Mookie have 2 hits through 3 games. Benintendi, as we said, don't have any. But all 3 of them have 2 walks each, which is nice. So at least they're not hitting much, but they're getting on base. So I think they'll pick it up. But slow start for all of them. Slow start for the outfield, period. With the 3 of them plus Jackie not getting a hit either. So we'll just ride the Xander Bogaerts express until other guys decide they want to show up this season. So it'll be fun. But through 3 games, good. 2-1, great pitching, which is always a good thing. That's what wins you games. As we saw, you almost won all 3 games without scoring many runs. So I think that's all positive. Let's jump over to some MLB headlines. I hate this headline because of what it is, but it's what people are talking about. Giancarlo Stanton had 2 home runs in his first game with the Yankees on opening day. And, of course, the second he did it, everyone said, oh, J.D. Martinez doesn't have a hit. I'm like, come on. It's 1 game. I don't know. It really irked me that Stanton decided to do that. And it's like people jump on that so quickly, like, oh, he's gonna have 60 home runs. He's gonna have 300 home runs. Screw off, right? Come on.
And, yeah, of course it's frustrating. It's frustrating when any Yankee player hits a home run. Obviously, it's more frustrating with Stanton. But it's such a long season. He could go cold at any minute. JD Martinez could heat up at any minute. I mean, what pissed me off the most about the whole Stanton home run was that I was in the midst of writing an article about John Sterling, talking about what his call would be for Stanton's home run. And I was literally about to save it as a draft so someone could take a look at it, and Stanton hit a home run. So my whole story about, like, what's the call going to be, and are people, because Sterling wouldn't come out and exactly say it. He just kind of said it was an Italian phrase. And he's like, I'm afraid people won't understand it. And I was really proud of this article, and then Stanton went and ruined it for me. So that's my only beef with the whole thing, where it's just like I had to change the whole story and kind of incorporate his home run and Sterling's call into one.
And then his other home run.
Yeah, I didn't even include that one. But I was just like, and I knew the second he hit it, I was like, here we go. So hop on Twitter, and everyone's freaking out. Like, nope, Stanton's going to hit 324 home runs. JD Martinez is going to hit 7.
Yep.
It's like you said, it's just like, come on, guys. Like, in 1 game, I understand. But of course Stanton's going to go off. That's expected from Stanton. It's not expected from Martinez to go off like that. But if people want Martinez to hit 40-plus home runs, there's still plenty of time. I promise you.
Yeah, he might. Most guys like to ease into the season, and Stan decided not to do that. So we had different reasons to be irked. Yours was because of your article. Mine was because the immediate JD Martinez comparison. I'm like, he's had like one at bat. Like, come on. We're one at bat into the season. We're already comparing these guys. Like, come on. I think that's dumb. I don't like people who do that. Like, give it some time. I know we're in the hot take world these days, but when it's 1/162nd of the season, come on. That's pathetic.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on to other home runs, the White Sox hit 6 home runs in their opening day game. Matt Davidson had 3. Tim Anderson had 2. Cool for Matt Davidson. That's great, on base for 306. Same thing as Stanton. But I honestly think it's bad when this happens because, like, all the pressure's on you. Everyone's saying how many home runs you're going to get. Like, watch Matt Davidson hit, like, 3 home runs the rest of the year. I don't think hitting 3 in the first game's a good thing necessarily.
No, because like you said, it puts so much pressure on you, and of course it's fun to say, like, oh, they're on pace for X amount of home runs, X amount of this, that. I get it. And I can't remember who it was last year, the year before, but he was on the Rockies, and I think he had like 2 or 3 home runs in the first game.
Oh, Trevor Story.
And he hit like, was it 6 games in a row? He hit a home run or something.
Yeah. And then he ends up hitting like 240 for the season. It's like,
right.
Great.
So it's like, I mean, it's so much fun in the beginning when this kind of stuff happens because it's fun to make those stories. But then when these players fizzle out, then it's
also
like,
meaningless. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then they fizzle out and everyone's like, "Duh, he sucks," and
right.
He's only going to hit. They could hit. 240 isn't terrible, but what if they hit like 290 at the end of the season? They'd be like, "Duh, they suck." Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh yeah, because they didn't hit a home run in every single game. Right. They absolutely suck.
Because they didn't hit 3 home runs in every single game.
Right.
Matt Davidson hit like 225 last year. He had an awful average. So, good for him. A lot of home runs for the White Sox. But I'm not putting too much stock into it unless he actually hits like 50 home runs this season. We'll see. Cool moment in the majors of the first couple of days here, I think, really is Ichiro returning to the Mariners for the second time and making a home run saving catch in his 3rd game. The guy's 44 years old. He wants to play till he's 50. He's definitely a little older looking now. He's got some little gray hairs, but he still looks like he's in good shape. I thought he was done. I didn't realize that he was back in the league again. This is pretty cool.
Oh, it was so much fun. I love a feel-good story like this, and that catch today, like, just absolutely unreal. It just kind of shows the athleticism he still possesses and just the kind of athlete and baseball player he is. Obviously, he loves being in Seattle. That's where he's known. That's his team. That's home for him. And hey, if he wants to play till he's 50, he's gonna play till he's 50. He's almost there, so he might as well just keep going.
Right? It's a pretty cool story. He's been in the league for 17 years. He played in Japan. He's already one of the best hitters of all time, and he's just going to keep adding to that as he plays more. So maybe that's what he wants to do. Just play forever and be the best hitter ever. So good for Ichiro. And our other MLB headline for this week, a couple of really good pitching performances. Johnny Cueto, your guy, took a perfect game into the 7th inning of his game last night, and that got broken up. His team won 1-0. And then Kyle Gibson of the Twins had 6 no-hit innings today, got taken out, so they had a combined no-hitter into the 8th inning, but that went astray, and they didn't end up getting it. But 2 really good performances, especially from Cueto.
Yeah, that was so much fun to see because obviously I love Cueto. That's no secret, and to see him get the start, and I was like, yes, I can't wait to see how he does, and getting the alerts like he has a perfect game. I was like, whoa, wait a second. Like, my Cueto? Like, the Johnny Cueto has a perfect game?
And he's on my fantasy team. My real fantasy team, not my draft fantasy team.
He's on one of mine as well, so that was kind of cool. And it's fun, because he didn't have the best year last year, and he's got, the shoulder issues, this issue, that issue, so, and even for the Twins, like, I feel like nobody really pays attention to the Twins unless they're doing something like really bad or something like this happens. So really cool to kind of start the season off like this, and kind of I think there's going to be one of my bold predictions I wanted to be for the season was there's going to be like 6 no hitters this year, but which is obviously a lot. But I mean, keeps going like this,
You
that
never
could
know.
very well happen.
Yeah, we've almost had a couple already. Yeah, I think these first couple games has been a lot of home runs and really good pitching. Not necessarily in the same game, but overall. So Joe Panic,
Yeah.
Joe Panic on the Giants. He hit a go-ahead home run twice in the first two games. Both games 1-0 wins over the Dodgers. That was pretty cool. He's like 5'8". He's sitting here hitting huge home runs off some of the best pitchers. That was pretty cool. I mean, the Giants are making news here.
It's an even year. They're going to be great this year. But it's fun to see someone like Joe Panic do something like that. Like, say he's little. And with being little, people kind of doubt you, and you don't have that kind of power that somebody like Aaron Judge or JD Martinez has, because they don't have that size to them. So it's just kind of cool to see. And I have a soft spot for the Giants. I always will. So just to see that happen and just kind of round out like a really fun first few days of baseball is just even better.
Indeed. All right, well, before we get out of here, let's go back to what we did last year with a little week prediction here. Obviously, the last game of the Tampa Bay series hasn't been played as of record date, but we'll go ahead and start with the 2 in Miami and then 3 more against the Rays next week. In the Miami series, I'm going split too, because 2-game series are weird, and I think that Miami's played decent so far. They've played some good games. They went to 17 innings against the Cubs last night, so they've been playing some decent ball. I think with Johnson and Sale being your pitchers, I think 1-1's fair, although I certainly wouldn't be surprised with the sweep at all. What do you got in the Miami series?
I hate 2-game series too. They are definitely a little weird,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they're going to take both of them. And, Miami's rebuilding. We obviously know they kind of just got rid of everybody, whether it was trade or whatever it was. But I think, Miami's kind of finding themselves, and I think the Red Sox they're going to build off this Tampa Bay series regardless of what happens in Sunday's game. But I'm really seeing taking both games from them.
All right, fair enough. And then 3 against Tampa Bay again. A whole lot of Florida here in the first. All of Florida. Not all of Australia for Aaron Baines, but we're going all of Florida here to start the season. Or Craig Kimbrell last night, as you said, all of America. So
all of America.
We're getting all of everything. Great beers for Kimbrell. Tampa Bay, I think that the Sox are, and obviously listeners will know the result before they hear this on Monday. I think the Sox are going to lose on Sunday, take 2 out of 2 from the Rays, which in turn, I think, after they split with Miami, they're going to go home for the home opener and sweep the Rays after taking 2 out of 4 from this series. So I've got a 4-1 week, 1-1 against the Dolphins, Marlins,
Wow.
Marlins, and sweep over Tampa Bay. What do you have in this second Tampa Bay series?
I think they're going to win on Sunday. I'll just get that out of the way.
Okay.
And then for the home series, I think they're going to win 2 out of 3. And how dare you go against my guy, Brian Johnson. So, yeah, he's the 4th starter. So how dare you go against him? But I think...
well, no, Velasquez is the 4th starter to start.
Oh.
He's pitching. Yeah. He's pitching Sunday. Johnson on Monday.
Oh well, I still think they're gonna win Sunday, but
and Monday.
And Monday, yeah. Well, I think they're gonna win both games for Miami.
Exactly.
The Dolphins, as you would say.
The Dolphins, yeah. Dolphins versus the Boston Patriots.
I think 2 out of 3. I want to say sweep. The optimist in me wants to say sweep, but
can't win every game.
Coming home is going to be good for them. They're going to have that, the home field and just the fans behind them. I think it's going to be fun, but there's always that one game against Tampa where you're like, why didn't we win that? And we had that on opening day when they were in Tampa, so it's going to be like deja vu.
All right, so 4-1 for both of us. After this first 2 series, it's 10 straight games. 3 against Tampa Bay, 3 against New York, 4 against Baltimore. So a little homestand after a 6-game road trip. So that's it for the first 3 games here. Don't forget to head over to draft.com and do your live draft and win $10 like I did, or more. If you want to put in a bigger entry, you can win more money. So go do that. Draft.com, really happy to be sponsored by them. I highly recommend it, especially after doing it myself. Make sure you follow the show and the station at CLNS Media, at Red Sox CLNS. You can even follow us if you want. I'm at CLNS_Jess saying. Lauren is at nope, 3. La la
3
la.
laws.
And then 4 R's in the Lauren. So you all follow her anyway. She has a lot of followers. So you should follow me because I don't. So check that out. And we'll be live tweeting all the games from our Twitter handle, which both of us are also going to be doing. So check that out. Check out the roundtables, the news feed. We got a lot of good stuff going on here. So all of our Red Sox coverage here on CLNS Media. This is Red Sox Beat. She's Lauren Campbell. I'm Jess Thomas. We'll be back next week, presumably with Jared Scally, the man himself. So hope you had fun this weekend. Happy Easter, everyone, and have a good night.